Hello everyone! Today for my holiday card series video, I am going to be making a spinner card. I'm using 3 different color distress inks for my background. I have the broken china, the blueprint sketch, and the tumbled glass. And I'm just putting each of these onto a nonstick craft sheet. And then I'm going to take my mister bottle and just mist these and get them pretty wet. I did probably about 10 squirts of water. And then I'm going to take my watercolor cardstock, this is the Distress watercolor cardstock, and just place it with the texture side down in the Distress ink, and then make sure that every area is covered, and then you can see what that looks like. But I'm going to go in and place it down a few more times and just blend all of those colors together. This part of my card, it's going to be the background, which I want to look like ice, kind of like an ice skating rink. So I went ahead and dried that, and then I'm going to go back in and place it down in my ink again. This is just going to build that color up and blend those colors together even more. And you can do this as many times as you want, or as little as you want, just getting the desired look for your background. So I'm just kind of picking all of that ink up and using all of it on this card. I don't really want any of it to go to waste. And then just to blend that out because it's a little splotchy, I'm just taking my mister bottle and just spritzing that with water. And then I went ahead and dried it once again. So to make it look more like ice and get that shiny look, I'm going to take some Perfect Pearls. This is the Biscotti. Just putting a little water on my craft sheet, and then I'll take my paintbrush and pick up some of this Perfect Pearls powder and then place it into the water. And then you'll get this metallic looking shimmer in your water. So then I'll just take that and then brush it on to this cardstock, and I'm going to brush the entire thing, and then I dried that completely once again. So for the image on this card, I'm using this little stamp set from Fawn. I'm going to take the penguin and place it on my clear acrylic block and then stamp that with Tuxedo Black Memento ink on a small piece of Coordination's 110-pound cardstock. I like to use all of my cardstock and not put any to waste. So then I'm going to go ahead and color this in with my Copic markers. I'm using the C5 to color in the penguin. I didn't want to do black because that tends to kind of blend in with the stamped line, so I'm just going to make it a really dark gray. And then I'll take the C8 so that I can do a little bit of shading and blending, and that's going to darken it a little bit more than just the C5 on its own. So then I'll take that and blend the C8 out. So I decided I wanted the scarf to be green, so I'm using the G05. It's kind of like a brighter emerald green, I'd call it. And then I'll do a little bit of shading with the G09. And I just flick that color in from the edges. That's just going to darken the shaded areas a little bit more. And then again, I'll just blend that out with the G05. So for the belly, I wanted a little bit of color, so I'm using the C1 and just using a little bit of that. And then I'm also going to add a little yellow with the Y11. And then I'm going to blend both of these colors with the colorless blender. That just makes it so you can't really see the edges of it, and it blends it out. So for the nose, I'm using the YR07, and then for the ice skates, the N10. So then I just went ahead and fussy cut that image out. Next, I'm going to cut my spinner part. So I'm using the 2 larger stitch circle dies from Simon Says Stamp. And I attached those onto my piece of cardstock with some washi tape because I had them lined up exactly how I wanted them. Otherwise, they would move in between my cutting plates. So I'm just going to run that through my Cut-A-Bug. You can use any die cutting machine, the Big Shot or Vagabond, whatever one you have will work. So go ahead and pull those out of my cutting plates. Now you want the outside piece and the inside circle. So there's going to be a a ring that you don't need, you can just set that aside and use it on any other card. So it kind of has that cool color already on it, and it's all set for another card. So these are the two pieces that you're going to want for this card. So first, what I'm going to do is stamp my sentiment in that circle. I'm using the same stamp set, and it says Happy Holidays. So I'm going to stamp them one at a time since they do come separately. It's just a little easier to line them up. So I'll stamp the Happy first. And again, I'm using the Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And then I'll go ahead and stamp the Happy right below it. Or Holidays, I should say, not Happy. I already stamped that one. Alright, so then there is the sentiment part of my card. For a little bit of texture and pattern in the background, I'm using the Hero Arts Soft Granite ink to randomly stamp the snowflake from the same set all around my piece of cardstock. The gray ink is a really light ink, so it doesn't take too much away from the rest of the card. So then it's time to go ahead and assemble the card. I have a white A2 size card base, and I'm going to attach this outer frame with some 3D foam squares. These ones are from Best Creation. And you just want to make sure that you do put plenty on the background, but you don't want to get it too close to the circle because otherwise the spinner part is not going to work. So you want to make sure that there's about a 1/2 inch gap from all the way around that circle. So you'll see that I don't put any on the edges because there's not enough room there. So I'll go ahead and remove the backings off from my foam squares. And then I'm just going to place this piece down onto my A2 size card base. So now it's time to make the little spinner part for the card. I have my penguin, and then I just have a black button. The last card I made, I used a penny, but you can use anything that's heavy enough and will spin on your card. So a lot of people have random buttons around their house, so that is just what I'm using for this card. And then I'm putting a little piece of foam tape on the back, and I actually went in and cut this down even more because it was a little too big, so I cut it down to be a square. And then I'm attaching my penguin, so this is going to be the part that spins on the card. I'm also going to apply some foam squares to the inner circle, and again I'm not getting it too close to the edge because otherwise the spinner will catch on them and it won't spin properly. So before I attach that down, I'm going to go ahead and put my penguin into place. You have to slide both of the edges in between the penguin and the button in the edges of my the part on my card. So I'll adhere that down. And then there is my spinner card. So they're really easy to make and they're really fun for kids or anybody just as an interactive card for your holidays. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure if you make your own spinner cards that you share with me on social media. I would love to see all of your creations and all of the different images and stuff you use. If you're not following me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss any of my new videos. And I will see you back here next time. Bye everyone!